Now if you're Kols, you're just ripping that Ferocious Howl to hold on to any life you might have left. And Mayanadon just pushing face like it's his job. And he's gonna get aggressive with the Desert Spear.
Job done.
Now if you're Kols, you're thinking you're just ripping the Starfall here to clear off everything, but it'll be a 2-1 remaining in the Secret Keeper. Mayanadon still not drawing any of his secrets to get this 4 mana 7/7 online.
Precision. Job done.
Now if you're Kols, you're kind of running out of options. This Zephyrs isn't online yet, so there's no board clear coming from that. You have to somehow deal with the Divine Shield of the Zilliat, and right now would actually be the perfect time to have the regular Druid hero power. Because he'd be able to knock off this Divine Shield and clear the board.
How curious. Standard time run low.
It looks like this is just the regular quest routes. There is no Malagos coming out from Kols. Oh, there's no Malagos to come out from Kols. Now, Mayanadon is put into this really awkward position of, does he want to start trying to trade and clear? Which he does have a full clear using Unleash the Beast and the Links that's in his hand.
I wonder.
However, he's trying to figure out if it's worth it to take the 4 damage. Or if he's just going to try and set up a lethal setup with the Tiamat and just protect the damage he has in hand, or on board. With the Divine Shield taunt. Or Wind Fury. And here comes a way for Kols to be able to effectively clean off the CM with bees and a swipe. Or he can just use that 4/3 he has on board. Technically, if he wanted to, he could nourish and then use the bees. And just kill it with the bees and draw 2 cards. And that looks like what the plan he's opting to do. And he's gonna be able to get that Uniseth Defender off the draw. Be able to help protect his life total just a bit more. Mayanadon just pushing Kols to the absolute limit here, setting him down to 9 health. The Sonaris does give Kols a chance to breathe here without taking any more face damage and not having to worry about any other minions coming into play. Although this double unleash the beast into the Zul'jin is just going to be a really nice setup for Mayanadon. Question is you going to press the button to set Kols down to 7, or use the flare to set up for a card draw with the Zul'jin? Or try and get this hyena active with the snipe. Bad news bears for Mayanadon, especially with this pickup of the deal 6, or restore 12 health and make a 6/6 taunt. That's known as Hidden Oasis. Now the question is if you're Mayanadon, you know you're going to be able to clear this 6/6 off, restore 5 armor to yourself. That appears to be what Mayanadon's going to do, is protect himself with his secrets. That is a big part of the
Job's done.
THL World Cup, is they are able to see that's an open deck list and what secrets Mayanadon has. Let's light streams down.
Hmm. Hmm.
Kols now has a dead Sonaris in his hand, just with it being 11 mana.
Our power.
Stand time run low.
And I think my internet's still dying. Either that or it's Twitch.
Here comes a big axe.
No, it's...
Hurry.
How curious.
There we go. We are back, I hope.
So many contradictions.
I apologize. Streamlabs OBS is not enjoying my...
This standard time run low.
Not enjoying my internet. Meanwhile, Kols is still right back in this after the large play coming out from Mayanadon with the Zuljin. With Mayanadon at 14 health and Kols at 16 health. Mayanadon is just going to load himself up with secrets, possibly?
This gonna hurt.
He could set himself down to 9 and clear the 5-3. And load up a couple of secrets.
Hurry!
But opting towards using the hero power and a couple other secrets. That way, no matter if this Rager attacked, or this Oasis Rager attacked, it will die. And if you're Kols, you are just slamming down this 7 mana Ancient of Lore and healing yourself and drawing a card. Because 19 is well out of the possibilities of just getting bursted. With 7 on board, 3 sits in hand, plus the hero power is 8, is 15.
How curious.
However, that could just be caster vision. Because you still want to get Mayanadon down low.
So many contradictions.
Instead, Kols is just setting up with a couple big taunts. And the heal. Now Mayanadon doesn't really have a way to answer this and still keeping a large board in play. He could unleash the beast and trade a 2-2 in and Life Drinker to be able to push 8.
This gonna hurt.
So you can go digging and get value off of making War Druid Lodi lose its stealth.
Hurry! This gonna hurt.
And he's just gonna clear the board. Now Kols can just go right back and play the War Druid Lodi once again. Or he could play the Zephyrus and then get another Zephyrus as well to hold on to.
So many contradictions.
Behold, jewels of the sun.
Instead, Kols is just going to protect his health. Now you're really thinking here, what can Zephyrus give me to help protect me or push damage through? I believe as the board state stands right now, it would give Tyrion, Twisting Nether, and I am not too sure what the last card is. That would be. If you were to play it now. Of course, the more cards he plays, the different options Zephyrus gives.
This gonna hurt.
And Mayanadon just slamming down the Dino Tamer Bran.
You'll find me wherever the action is.
Just looking to push as much damage as he possibly can. If Kols just so chooses to, he could have a full clear here. Because he does have the Wrath in hand. As well as
So
the
many
Starfall.
contradictions.
Or Starfall Swipe. There's quite a bit of ways to be able to clear this. Kols pushing the most damage he possibly can with Swiping Face. That is 2 swipes that he has put face so far this game. And if you're Mayanadon, I think you're going to use the hero power and just play out as many cards as you can through the Shimmerfly and the Mass Contender. Or you could play the Snake Trap and make him think.
My cards are low. How strange.
That's not quite how that works, Kols.
This is a teaching moment.
Where the Innervate doesn't quite get there with 211 mana. Now this Flame Strike is just a full clear onto the board. Or this Tyrion just essentially seals up the game for Kols. And Kols does elect to go for the Tyrion. 3, 5, 6, 9, 15, 9, that's 14. Plus 2 is 16. Technically, Zephyrus is lethal here with a Fireball. No, it's not, because you can't get Fireball and play it.
Oh no, my trove of cards is gone.
Now if you're Kols, you're playing the Tyrion. And just hoping that Zephyrus isn't the card that can ruin this for you. So it's a 1 in 5 possibility from Kols' perspective, because you always get silence here. Or sap. or Bloodlust. All these are perfectly fine options. And that is game 1.
You have legendary skill, my friend.
Now we see why Mayanadon shielded his hunter. Now we just have to wait here to find out what Kols decides to put in next. What was Mayanadon? Mayanadon does have his warrior and rogue available. Kols has his rogue, druid, and hunter. We're going into the next match now. Provided my spectator doesn't bug out. We do have the warrior versus the druid.
Class is in session.
It looks like this is just your standard old control warrior coming out of Mayanadon. Now, a lot of the key cards for Mayanadon are the single target removal for the big minions and Super Collider to help deal with the the Oasis Surgers. Kols not letting Mayanadon know that he has the Innervate in hand, electing to use his coin. I think we're just going to be seeing a lot of armor ups here from Mayanadon for this first little bit of the game.
Behold, jewels of the sun.
Kols getting that cycle engine going.
Job done.
The good news is this town crier does have the plethora of opportunities on what it can hit. Ah, the plethora being double Restless Mummy
Done.
or Zilliax. Those are really the only cards you want as a warrior in most matchups. Kols completing his quest on turn 4. That's what you always like to do as the druid here.
No tomb can hold me.
Kols is searching for an answer here with the Keeper of the Grove to silence the Restless Mummy and then to kill it. It's interesting that the Keeper does it in the opposite order that it is worded. Just because the silence does proc first because it's a targetable ability. Actually, that's an interesting thing because it should be the 2 damage that goes first. Based off of the wording of the card.
I cannot hold any more cards.
Behold, jewels of the sound.
And we're back. Using the Nourish, he does burn the Anusabith Defender. However, he does get to keep the Zephyrus in hand. Now the question is with Mayanadon, does he want to keep the mech alive and use the Super Collider to help kill off this Crystal Merchant?
What now?
Mayanadon is electing to trade in, gain the extra armor. Turn 9 comes out Sonaris from Kols.
Who dares defy this ancient land?
The question is how greedy does Mayanadon want to be with this removal that he has?
I wonder.
Does he feel like this warrants a brawl? And we do know from Kols that if he decides to, he could just play the second Sonaris and just rebuild this exact same board. And we just see the clears coming, or the clearing of the 1 minion coming out from Mayanadon and the hero power. Now's the option where Kols, he has 10 mana. He can the Sonar or bees and then Sonaris. Kill the 3/2. The 2 1/1s that get the Sonaris buff. So those are 3/3s. So he'll have 6 and then his 2 4/4s on board. Or he can go with the Oasis Surger and just make very, very large minions. Never mind. I forgot the Sonaris effect leaves because of the him playing Oasis Surgery. If I'm Mayanadon here, I am wanting to slam this Doctor Boom down as early as possible to get as much out of it as I can. However, this Warpath does allow him to full clear this board with trading in the Super Collider. Or does have the option, if he so wished to, is use the Ziliax. Now that it's passed, but
Our power is in our.
this is certainly a large turn coming out from Kols with the King Ferris. Mayanadon is just going to slam this brawl. See what lives. And hope he has a way to deal with it. And the King Ferris lives. This does allow him to do the town crier with Restless Mummy and just kill off the King Ferris.
No tomb can hold me.
There is one bomb currently in Kols' deck.
Our power is in our
This is a much better King Ferris coming out of Kols this turn. And if you're Mayanadon, you're just sitting here saying, well, don't have my second brawl. This Warpath just isn't quite going to cut it. Because there's still going to be a 6-9 left on board. As well as the 312. However, he can force Kols to overdraw one here by adding the Lackey to his hand. That looks like exactly what his plan is to do. Mayanadon is actually able to full clear because I am not very smart. Don't see that.
I cannot hold any more cards.
And that's an alright burn from Kols, with it just being the innervate. Kols is down to 8 cards. Soon enough, Mayanadon is going to be able to just start slamming bombs right into his hand. Right into his deck. This is the card that Mayanadon wished he had last turn, where he could have just full cleared and not had to use the super collider charge. Although, this hero power with the Plague of Wrath does shut down any large development that Kols can do. Not that there's too much anyways. Kols has a sneaking suspicion that Mayanadon has a way to answer all of this. Or any beefy threats that he could possibly create with the Hidden Oasis, or... That's essentially it.
Okay then.
Mayanadon does have a very difficult hand to choose from here. However, if he does decide to Galvanizer, he could technically full clear this
Okay then.
board with the Dynomatic and Clockwork Automation and trading. Let's see what he decides to do.
Oh, I love that fuse thing. Okay then.
He does elect to save it in case of... Not too sure why he saved it, to be perfectly frank.
So many contradictions.
The thing about this play now is he can elect to draw 3 and deal 2 to this Ancient. Or draw 1 and kill off the Ancient.
Sands of time run low.
And if you're Mayanadon, I like the idea of trading and drawing 1 card and playing the Dynamatic and Zilliax and just making a large threat that can't really be cleared the easiest. That sits to sits. I guess he does know Double Starfall is an option, as well as Wrath. Mayanadon is opting to get this Blastmaster Boom online with 2 bombs in the deck now. Kols has a 2 in 3 chance to draw a bomb here. Or 1 in 3, sorry, I apologize. Does avoid it. However, he has a very draw-oriented deck now. The longer this game goes on, the better it's looking for Mayanadon. Be able to clean this up. And with this top decked Elic, he'll be able to have 20 damage in the deck of Kols right now. This would like to hold on to it and play this Blastmaster Boom for its full value. And just start pushing damage. So there is all the bombs out of Kols' deck at the moment. However, this augmented Alec with Wrench Caliber will be able to put in 10 more damage, plus push 3 damage with the weapon itself. That is 13. If Kols decides to clear this, which he does, this could very well be a lethal setup coming out from Mayanadon. Depending on how much damage is done by the bombs here. And it is just enough to get there. That there is no play that can save Kols. With him being set to 2. Oh, that's a lie. It's a 50-50% chance for Kols to just die instantly. Without having to worry about what he draws. And no matter what, outside of this hidden oasis that I didn't notice, Kols could have died. I do believe you can guarantee the lethal here. So that's 6, that's 9.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
And being able to push damage. I think what you do here is you play the Zilliax to be able to restore your own health. And you play it onto the 4/5. Oh, he is electing to just push the damage and clearing off 1 minion. However, it is... Kols has 1 deck left in his or one card left in his deck that won't kill him, which is the swipe. So unless Kols can find a way to win from here, which he only has 9 damage. 9 plus 1 is 10. Yeah, he has 10 damage. That is the end of game 2 and the series. Mayanadon is going to win 2-0.
You have legendary skill, my friend.
And Kols there recognizing it. It decides to go in a blaze of glory.
Strange. Oh no, my trove of cards is gone.
That is a well played. And the Bomb Warrior coming out from Mayanadon, being able to finish off the Druid. So, now we just have 2 matches left in the THL World Cup, with it being the Chronic and Kols for the bronze match. That's going to be an exciting matchup. And Fuel and Mayanadon for the grand finale. What's very interesting is all 4 regions have someone in the final 4. With Fuel being from the Pacific, Mayanadon being from the Atlantic, the Chronic being from the Great Lakes, and Kols being from the Northeast. I forgot what our 4 regions were. Anyways, that is it from me tonight. Well, pay attention to the THL World Cup chat for when the next match is. Good night.